Hi, Julia Watts here. Welcome to my YouTube channel. So today we're going to have another look at the Tropical Paradise Creative Pack from Sentimentally Yours. And I do have other videos on my channel where I've made there's a couple of card videos of this particular pack, and also I go through in depth on another short video and show you the pack sheet by sheet. So I'm not going to go sheet by sheet today, but I will take you through the front cover, which gives you an idea of what's in there. As I said, this is a Tropical Paradise Creative Pack. There are two other creative packs from Sentimentally Yours at the moment, the Rose Garden and the Harmony Blue. And you will find these for sale on my website, juliawattscrafts.co.uk, for shipping to UK addresses. Should I be out of stock, you should be able to find them at Honeypot Crafts. So this is as I said, this is the cover sheet. So within the Tropical Paradise, you've got 210 elements, and by elements it means that each topper sheet, once you've cut them up into the various sections, they become elements. Hopefully you can see that. The light isn't very good today. And plus this is an additional one, so really there's 211 elements in this particular sheet. And of course where it's showing you snapshots of what the backgrounds are, you could actually do small little embellishment die cuts from that as well, so don't actually throw anything away. And also if you're doing your journaling and you've got your little eyelet kind of dies, you can get those out of the little sections as well. It's all acid and lignin free, which means it's safe for your journaling and your scrapbooking. It's single-sided, so you don't have the angst of deciding which side to use, but there are 2 sheets of each. So what I did when I got mine was I cut them one set of sheets into the individual elements, and then I've got a complete set here which hasn't been touched yet. So there's just so much that you can do with them. So you've got the 7 topper sheets. So obviously these are your kind of main panels, if you like. There's tags and borders in there, and there's also little kind of flowers, and there's little sort of gem type things. There's little round toppers there as well. There's areas where you can stamp in the centre of the frames and put sentiments in. We've got some more tags and label style sort of sentiment toppers there. Obviously that's going to make a complete card for you. And we've got some corners here and some kind of backgrounds and borders, and then there's 5 background sheets, which are going to obviously be great as backgrounds, or the plain ones I tend to cut my flowers and leaves out of. But obviously it's up to you how you use it. So for this card today, all I'm going to be using is, I'm going to be using one of the background sheets. Let me find it. So I've used this one. And then I've got 2 elements as well. So I've got these 2 pieces as well. So a label and kind of an A6 background, if you like. So that's all I'm using for this particular card. Obviously I'm going to be using some regular card and some, I've got some die cuts that I've cut from them. So let's crack on. What I want to do first is actually deal with my flowers and my leaves, so the glue is actually setting before we shape them. So I've taken, grab the die set. I've got this die set here, which is Pretty Petals, Precious Blooms. So within this one, there's also the Darling Blooms and the Cherish Blooms, which are the newest flowers from Sentimentally Yours. You've got inner and outer petals, so you've got the solids, and then you've got the decorative pieces as well. Obviously these 2 are different sizes, but I do have the corresponding sizes for each one. Here's the other one, here's the other one. So I've just taken 3 of the smaller ones here, and it's up to you how you actually do them. This is a Fabulous Fuchsia card, by the way. And because of the colours that we've got in here, I thought the Fabulous Fuchsia would pick out the pink that's in there. So it works quite well, as you can see. That turns quite nicely, and it would be a little bit of a contrast to the sort of orangey colour that there is there. So that's why I chose that one. So what we're going to do is, there's different ways that you can do this. Obviously you can use those on their own, you can use those on their own. You can actually offset them slightly so that the open petal is in the middle of where all the other petals are. This is a 6 petal flower. You can actually just pop them on top like that, which is what we're going to do. And if you're just going to use them like that flat, then I think it's only necessary to put a little blob of glue in the centre. If you want to fill it with, say, glossy accents or another liquid style medium, I would suggest you actually glue all the way around and leave that glue to set, and then you can add your medium. If you just want to add, say, a quickie glue pen, say, and then some fine glitter on top, you can just get away with just adding a little bit of glue to the tips as well as the centre. So it's entirely up to you, but, you know, make life easier if you can. What I'm going to do is I'm going to be shaping them with my tweezers. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little bit of glue in the centre, and this is your Sentimentally Yours PVA. And I'm just going to put a little bit of glue on the tip. You could use a fine tip glue applicator if you wanted to. I'll have to see if I can get some more of those. They weren't in stock, but I don't always get the notification when it's back in, so I'll have a look, see if I can get some more of those. They're perfect for this sort of thing. I forget I've got them actually. Just on the tip. I'll take a piece of kitchen roll because we'll blob a little bit of that glue off, and I'm going to use my tweezers, my Sentimentally Yours tweezers. This is my favourite, my pointy ones. I use my pointy ones all the time. And they do get very glued up. Right. So I'm just going to dab a bit off just so I don't get glue on the tips. I mean, it does dry clear and matte, but I don't like to see the glue. Let's pick that up and move it. There's a little bit coming through. So we're just going to push the tips and push it in the centre. And then we're going to put that aside to dry. And once it's dry, then we can shape it. Let's dab a bit of that off. Might be easier if I pick it up. See, they fit perfectly on top. Really pretty. All 3 of the new designs are really lovely. I'm not sure if Phil's got any more shapes planned. I don't know. But we'll see, won't we? Okay, and then this is the dinky little one. And they do cut absolutely beautifully. The card, the creative pack, I don't think I mentioned actually, it's 250 GSM, which is actually a card weight. The Fabulous Fuchsia is 270 GSM, so there's only 20 GSM difference between the premium cardstock and the actual creative pack. So it is really good quality. I think once you get past 200, you are dealing with card weight. Stick. Here we go. Okay, so we're going to put those aside to dry. What I've also got is the leaves. So if you remember, the background sheet starts sort of pinky orange and then fades into a yellow. So this is that same background sheet as the flowers are from. So with the leaves, and these are your lovely leaves, and again this is the same kind of thing. So you've got open and you've got solids as well. So we've got the solids cut out of the background paper, and then we've got the opens cut out of pure white card. So we're going to do the same thing with this. I'm not sure if I'm going to shape these or not. I haven't decided, and I also haven't decided how many I'm going to use. And you can see that these are singles. You can see that these aren't as long, because that's all I've done. Rather than, because I know that when I tuck them in, I've only got little flowers. I know that when I tuck them in, I don't want the full length of the stem. So rather than waste my background paper or my card, I've actually just hung the die off the edge so that I don't actually waste card. especially when you're dealing with your creative pack, you don't want to actually use any more than you have to, because the more frugal you are, the more projects you're going to get from that creative pack. And do look out on Facebook. If you're not already a member of the Crafting with Phil Martin and Sentimentally Yours Facebook page, do ask to join that group, because there's lots and lots of inspiration on there. It's a really nice group, and everybody shares their makes, not just the design team. And it's wonderful to see what other people make, not just us. Because there's always something to learn from absolutely everybody, and don't be frightened to share. Because even if you've made a mistake, somebody's going to learn from it. I mean, you will. And no mistakes are always happy accidents. How pretty is that once you've got your open leaf on top of your solid leaf? Put that side to dry. I probably won't use all of these I've cut, because I've cut one of each size. But of course, we know that the creative pack it's a mixture of kind of yellows and oranges, and then blues and greens. So I know that when I do another piece, even if I don't use all of these, I will definitely use them on another project. So that's all that kind of faffing around all done. Actually, while we're gluing, I've also got the Best Wishes Sentiment Edger, and this is Fabulous Fuchsia, and I've taken the smaller one of the two, so the dinky little one. You get a solid and a detailed in two different sizes, and you don't have to use them on the edges. You can use them across at an angle. I'm going to use them across the middle on this one, and they're just really pretty. So there's 6 out at the moment, and I believe there are some more to come. So we'll just scribble our glue on here. I am going to just see if I can run it on here. Okay. Pick up my tweezers. I've got a little gap there, and we're going to dip in the detail part. They do cut really, really well. You just have to be careful with the curly bit there, because there isn't a release hole on there. Phil didn't want one on there. And then we're going to, let's see where we are. Make sure you can see. We're going to just see if we can line. It's easier if I stand up, but obviously I'm not at the minute. See if we can line that up. Okay. Beautiful. And we're going to leave that aside to dry as well. Right. Let's just clean that up. Water. Obviously, if you've got any more kind of delicate glue work to do, you can do it all at the same time before you do a clean up, and the glue comes off your craft sheet really easily just with a little bit of water. Just don't need to panic over that. Okay, so let's go to our bits and pieces. So I've taken, if you hear me running around on my chair, this is the new debossed double stitched rectangles, which is one of the new dies. There's also the debossed double stitched squares as well, and these are going to give you sort of dot dash kind of stitch detail on the inside and the outside when you do frames. Obviously, if you're just die cutting, then you're going to get a nice stitch detail on the edge. See that? There we go. So I've got 2 of these at pure white. I've also got my Fabulous Fuchsia, and so I think that's going to sit there. We're going to take our panel, one of our panels, and that's going to go on there like that. So let's get those layers ready. very, very simple, this one. You could, if you wanted to, you could emboss your background with an embossing folder. You could stamp on it, but I actually thought that this would look really nice with the white left completely white, so it's a really stark contrast to the beautiful panel and topper from the creative pack. So that's why I'm not doing anything clever with this, and hopefully it will show you that you don't have to do anything clever. You don't have to be, you know, super duper crafty. You're just going to be able to do something really, really special very quickly and very easily. I mean, obviously we could add extra ink around the edges if you want to, but I'm keeping it very, very clean, as I said, and very uncomplicated. That's the plan anyway. So this is our panel, which is going to go on here like so. Just leaving an equal border just around the edge. Now, if you were super frugal, and I did mean to do it, but I completely forgot, because this is going to go on top here, the best thing to do would have been to just cut that out there, because then you can take flowers out of that area there. So as I say, I completely forgotten that I was going to do that. So you make sure you do that so you're not wasting what's underneath there. The good news is I've got 2 sheets, but the bad news is I should have really remembered that's what I wanted to do. This one's going to go on here, and this is going to go on here like that. So I'm just going to pop this under here, because I've got a piece of MDF, and that's going to go under here just to make sure it stays nice and flat while I glue these 2 pieces here together. It's very easy to cut these out from your creative pack. Phil has made sure that all the background around the toppers is actually coloured. So if your fussy cutting isn't brilliant, nobody will be able to see, because it's not a white edge that you've got around all the toppers. It's a coloured edge. So this is going to go kind of in the middle. Try and get top and bottom equal. So obviously this could be either way. You could use it the way I'm using it, or you can use it that way up, whichever you want. Or you could chop it down and have part popping out of the top there and part popping out of the bottom. There's quite a few different things you can do. You don't have to use them as is. You can use them however you want. So on here we're going to put our best wishes, and that's simply going to go across the middle, and those lilies are going to help me line it up so it's in the middle. Obviously there seems to be more of a gap. I don't know if it's probably my eyes. It looks like there's more of a border there than there is there. There probably isn't, but I'm going to have it just so that best wishes is slap bang in the middle there between those 2 flowers. So we get that stuck, and we give that chance to stick down before we trim the edge off. It's quite easy to add your glue to the back now, because without doing the dippy thing, because the shadow is more of a solid area. I'll pick it up. We want it equidistant if we can between those 2 flowers. That's straightish. Have a look. Yeah, straightish. Okay, so we give that chance to just dry a second. And we go to our bottom layer, and I'm just going to add some foam tape to this one. I think we'll go 2mm. This is woodware foam tape. And as I said, this is Fabulous Fuchsia cardstock. Here's another one. remember to always, when you're doing your foam tape, always do something across the middle so you don't have a saggy middle. It's one of those sticky backs, that one. That's a better back. Those bits. And then we're going to put that. Pretend this is card blank, and so I know you want to know what the measurements are. So we're dealing in old money. We're dealing with 8 by 6 3/4. Obviously you can make it smaller if you want to. There's no reason why you have to have this panel the length that it is. You don't have to have it the width that it is. You could get 2 panels out if you just chopped it down the middle. As I said, remember, if you're using it like I am, don't forget, gut it there so you can get a couple of flowers out of there at least, which would be rather pretty. Let's pop that. Is that straight? Let's go on there. And then this one, we're just going to turn that around and chop the edge off. And there's a little bit this side. It's easier to see if you turn your topper over. It's easier to cut from the back. It's pretty. And we're going to pop 2mm foam tape on this one as well. Top of my glue. If you put your top back on your glue, whenever you use it, then it tends to not bung up. I rarely ever have my glue bung up because I always put the top on. I can't remember the last time it bunged. Obviously, if you want to post it and you're worried about posting, you can just do it all flat. You don't have to raise it at all. I think if this was Mr. M making a card, he'd probably add another layer of the fuchsia and another layer of the pure white, so you'd have extra layers. That's what Mr. M likes on his masterpieces. Totally up to you, but you get the idea, don't you? You could add some more of the background paper if you wanted. There's all sorts of things you can do. So we're going to pop this just so it's, yeah, let's see if that's straight. Looks it. Because remember, it's more difficult to move if you can tape. So that's where we're at so far. I think that looks really pretty. I do, like I say, I like the starkness of the white against the vibrancy of the Creative Pack background. Really like that. But we are going to add some flowers just to kind of give it a bit of a lift, and we're going to add some pearls as well. So let's go to our flowers. So remember, we stuck these flowers down with glue at the beginning, and the reason why was because I want to shape them. Let's get my little pad thing out. There we go. This is just a moulding mat. I used to use them a lot in my workshops, and I think I do have a few left as used items. So have a look at the pre-loved section on my website. So taking my wonderful gluey pointy tweezers, really gluey. I'm just going to do that thing where we put the tweezers in the centre and then squeeze up around the tweezer. And we can do that because we've glued these down. I wouldn't recommend that you do it unless you glue the tip in the middle. Obviously glue the whole thing if you want to. And do wait for it to dry. But you can see, even though I haven't glued the edges, it's not necessary to glue all the way down the edges. As long as you glue the centre and the tip, then you're good to go. That gives a bit of shape to that. And we're going to just work around these. I have got another set that I've already done because we're going to double them up, make them quite full flowers. Don't worry if they're a little bit wonky. Flowers aren't perfect. The little one's the hardest one to do. And the edge. I think I struck that one a bit wonky, but you won't tell. Once it's together, you won't tell. Okay. So these are the ones that I've already done. Exactly the same. So we're going to just double these up. So we'll put these down first and just a blob of glue in the centre. Like so. A bit more there. Lid on. And then we're going to offset them. Remember, they are 6-petal flowers, so they are symmetrical. So we can offset them. And then I've got, this is a Dreamweaver embossing tool. I think I've got some of these left. Take the fatter end and just push down. And that obviously adheres the glue and also gives them a really nice shape. Hopefully you can see that. Okay. And then we do the other two. So we want, this is the medium size one. Push that down. And then we've got the dinky dinky one. And we'll turn it around and use the smaller end for that one. Push that one. That's so cute. Now we're going to add some pearls. So the pearls we're using are the Sherbet Sunrise, and they are sort of duos or ombre pearls. And so they're a mix of orange and yellow, which obviously is going to go really well with the background paper that we've chosen. And they come in, I think these are just, yeah, these are just 5mm and 8mm, because if they were the 3mm, you wouldn't really see the ombre, because the pearls would be too tiny. And you can get these from Honeypot Crafts. I don't have them. No other retailers have them. It's all from Honeypot Crafts. But you can get everything else I'm using from my website, juliawattscrafts.co.uk. So let's just pop some glue in the centre, and we'll add our pearls. I think we'll go for an 8 in there, which might squidge out. Probably put far too much glue in. And we go for 5s in the small one. And I'm going to use my, so I always put them into the lid because it's easier to pick them up. I'm going to use one of my pickup tools, which do have small embossing tools on the end. And I'm just going to, it's been quite cold, so I'm just going to manipulate them a wee bit, just so that warms them up a bit. And we can pick one up. There's our 8, and that's going in the centre. Like so, we'll push it down. Centre-ish, yes. And then we want a couple of 5s. One in here. Yeah, it's too big for that. And another one for in the dinky one. That's so cute. Obviously the flowers do flatten out a wee bit as you push the pearls in, but I'm not worried. I don't want them to be super elevated. Pretty. Okay, let's get the flowers on, and then we are done. And the leaves. Okay, so I think, oh, some more pearls as well. We'll have some more pearls. Right, so I'm thinking that what we'll have is we'll have the big leaf, a big flower down here, because I don't want to hide a lot of the things. That's the thing. I mean, obviously, if Miss Joan was doing this, there'd be 97 million flowers on. But I'm just going to stick with just a few. So I think I'm going to have it like that, and then we can tuck some leaves in afterwards. So let's get, at this point, sometimes the pearls pop out, but it's just because everything's not dry yet. Good amount of glue on the back of that for a second. Okay, so let's have that one about there. I'm only just placing, I'm not pressing it yet. So I think we'll have them like that. Sweet. And then we've got the leaves. So I'm not sure if I'm going to use the 3 leaves. I don't know if the 3 leaves is going to be too big. I'm going to take a bit of that off. Anyway, let me have a look in the camera, see how that looks. Oh, actually, I quite like that. Yep, go for that. It is very handy having the 3s, the 2s and the 1s, and also the rights and the lefts. So look, yes, I quite like that. That's cool. And I think up here we might go for a 2. Let's get that a bit off. Might look a little weird, the 2. Let's have a look. A bit more of that off. That's why it's just not worth having the, using your background to cut more off. Oh yeah, that works. It's very handy having a camera look so I can look at. If you do, obviously at home, you probably wouldn't be doing having a camera and recording yourself do this, but what you can do is you can place things, take yourself a picture with your phone, have a look at it, and then decide whether you like it or not. And just faff around like that. Do we want a 1? Let's have a look. How would the 1 look? Do you want another 1? See, faff. This is what takes the time, is actually doing this part. Don't think I like that. Yeah, let's have that. Yeah, let's have that. Oh, that's fine. So we're using the two of the 1 leaf ones. That's going to go in there like that. And then this is going to go like that. Let's move that over a bit, I think. Yeah. Okay, I'm not going to do another leaf there. So I've got a 3 and a 2 that I can use on another project. Keep those in a little container somewhere. And we're going to add some more pearls just to finish this off. So we definitely want 1 in each corner. Definitely. And I think what we might have is 2 here and 2 here. I put the glue on now, so I've got no choice. That's my decision made for me. Right, so same pearls that we've used on the flowers. There's my pickup tool, there it is. So we're going to have the big ones in the corners. And because they're ombre, what you can do is have them so that they're all pointing the same way if you want. So I'll have them, that's not right, let's have that one. Let's have this one and have that pointing up as well. And then you don't have to lean across your work, let's turn them over. We'll have that pointing towards the middle as well. So we've got the orange pointing in. I don't want that one. Got this one. On all of them. And then I think we'll have, what should we have? Do we have 2 of the little ones and 1, or 1 of the big one and 1 of the little one? That's the question. I think we'll have a big one. Excuse my stomach. And we'll have a little one. I don't want that one. Let's have this one. See how handy the pick-up tool is. Really handy. Like that. And then we'll have the same over here. So we have the ombre pointing like that, and then we'll pick up a little tiny one like so. And I think, yeah, we're done. I'm happy with that, very happy with that. So as I said, there's nothing complicated in that whatsoever. It's just the beautiful background, the two elements that we've got from the creative pack, the Tropical Paradise, plus obviously using a bit of the background paper for the flowers and the leaves. We've got some pure white card and we've got some fabulous fuchsia card, and I really like that. Let's hold it up so it's a bit closer to you so you can see it. I really like that. I think that's really pretty. I think anybody would be really glad to receive that. And it is totally different to the other videos that I've done. So just to remind you, this was a Facebook Live. So that one's totally different to the one that we've just done. Totally different. So you'll be able to watch that one on my YouTube channel. And there's also this one as well. Which doesn't have any flowers on it and is in the colourway that's within the kit, so you can watch that one. So it'd be really lovely if you'd like and subscribe. So that's my YouTube channel there, Julia Watts Crafts. You'll find me also on Facebook at Julia Watts Crafts, and as I said, you can buy everything I've used today aside from the pearls from my website juliawattscrafts.co.uk. The pearls, and if I'm out of stock of anything, you can get at Honeypot Crafts. So I do hope you've enjoyed that, and thank you for watching.